So I want to talk about AA. Hello, this is Liam. If this is your first time meeting me, I would just like to announce that I've chosen to dye my hair red in honor of Rihanna. Thank you. I tried to play that song on loud. What is it called? Oh yeah. California King Bed. I can't record and play California King Bed at the same time, so I'm just gonna put it softly under whatever is happening here. I got water all over my clothes while rinsing bleach out of my hair, and it got into my eyes. And so I said, I really hope my insurance covers bleach in the eyes, because otherwise I'm fucked because I have no money. They tried to kill me. They tried to force me to join a cult called Alcoholics Anonymous. And if you're familiar with said cult, let me just tell you, it's everything they warn you about and worse. Also, this hair dye made me look like a comic book character, and not mad about it. If you don't give me a facelift right now, I'm going to kill the Queen of France. And I don't even know who that is, but I'm gonna kill the Queen of France. I almost became a member of a cult. I almost got abducted by AA, which is another form of praying to Jesus every week in a room, sometimes every day, twice a day if you're fucking really insane and can't control yourself. But it's an entire organization that's dedicated to reliving the life of a person who can't stop bitching and moaning about the fact that they can't control their drinking to the point of ending up in hospitals and or jail from their behavior. Like a fucking crazy person, but it's true. So I think that we should demoralize the centralization of a company, aka Alcoholics Anonymous and or Narcotics Anonymous, that have dedicated themselves into stealing the money of poor people, because that's what it does. They ask for donations at the end or during the AA meeting, and they passed around like a basket or a can, and they were like, please just give what you can, and nobody gave anything. Oh my god, it looks like I murdered somebody. Hello, my name is Liam. I like to work with children one day. What a metaphor for life this has been. Life is a highway. I'm gonna ride it all night long. So I got abducted by the cult again. Just kidding. I got abducted by the cult of sobriety because I have a debilitating mental illness. That was funky, but I realized initially my assessment and reaction to the 12-step program was a bit vindictive, a bit aggressive. You're also gonna watch me do laundry because it's Sunday. So I'm gonna share some thoughts about the process as witnessed. Well, I just went to or attended a virtual 12-step meeting. It was awful. It was funny in a lot of ways, but I feel awful. I feel like a lot of AA meetings and a lot of 12-step based group recovery is trauma dumping. The purpose of group sharing seems to be for a lot of people to like dump their own problems onto other people and make them process it with them. And they just share them and expect you to kind of take them and have things to say about them that are constructive. If you're in recovery or trying to adjust your substance use or control your drinking, this is a good resource for you, at least as a firsthand as it happens account from a skeptic. Is TMI to have to hear about, you know, Brenda from New Mexico, whose son just killed himself, and her inability to cope with that. And so she needs some safety net, you know, whether that is AA or a family member to coach her through that. But personally, as a sensitive person in recovery, I don't like being privy to that information constantly. And so the idea of 12-step meetings as a way to get support scares the living shit out of me. Scares the bazonkin daylights out of me, because it is largely a model in which you are expected to go along with what everybody else is doing and repeat mantras and fucking use 12-step prayers that were not written by Jonathan or, you know, Matthew Mark or whoever. They were written by some man named Bill W., who clearly had a problem listening to people and controlling his own impulses. So he created this entire model based upon full and total abstinence, total sobriety, which, I get it, is necessary. And personally, I think full and total abstinence from something like weed, which was my DOC, drug of choice, prevented me from connecting with people, and I want to connect with people now. And so full abstinence from that might not be possible for the rest of my life, but I can at least work on modifying behaviors in order to control that. No, not in AA. I don't agree with the idea that you need to follow a dogma in order to get sober. The first step is admitting that we're powerless over our addictions, meaning, in my eyes, we can't control anything, so therefore we must give up our own ability to make change independently, which I think is bullshit because it burdens a community with a problem that stems from mental health and a problem that stems from our own choice, which is what it is. Using substances is a choice, and we agree to the consequences based upon indulging in whatever those may be for you. A lot of the people that I've encountered just are people in pain, and that's what addicts are. I mean, I'll identify as an addict. They're people in pain who can't find relief in any other way other than using. My biggest pet peeves are annoying people who don't understand boundaries and like social etiquette. Now, I am probably autistic. I have probably undiagnosed ADHD, but I understand the burden that is information, especially in the age of information. And I get that AA helps a lot of different people in terms of having a collective community in which to gather, in which to share your thoughts and your struggles. And I think that that's very important in healing, is to be able to trust people. I know that that's been the most helpful part of this process for me, is being able to trust people more. In AA, if you talk about anything like moderation or impulse control or anything in those lines of, I'm not going to stop completely, I don't plan to stop completely for the rest of my life, they get all pious and they say, oh, well, you're going to die. You're going to end up in a ditch dead from weed-laced fentanyl or what have you. And you're going to kill yourself because you are non-accepting of this shame-based program that works to, what's the word? Not dismantle. This word is evading me right now. But it works to take away your power. So you keep coming back. That's the mantra. It works if you work it. It works if you keep coming back. Well, I have something to say to that. AA failed for me as a model because, number one, it attracts weirdos. I just want to say that straight off the bat. I don't care who you are. Like, if you think that going to a group every year, that sounds like Easter Sunday. If you go to a group every day, expecting to be absolved of responsibility of your substance use because you have a disease, you are wrong. And you are pushing that responsibility onto other people. Now, recovery, as it stands, is a largely individualistic process. It is one that requires reaching out for help from other people, and a requirement that you are vulnerable about your habits with other people, to depend on the constant support of other people, because it's unrealistic. And again, it absolves your own responsibility and your own decision to partake in said substances. Now, recovery is a big word because it's a recovery from what? It's a recovery from the tendency to use, or maybe it's the mental health side of recovery. People who have had undiagnosed mental illnesses for years and are just finding them out. I'm getting winded in the beginning of this hike. One moment. I'm not going to go on and on about this because the thesis remains the same, that AA did not work for me. And if you're somebody else in recovery, who you're entering meetings and you're like, I don't know about this philosophy of, full and total surrender and wallowing in admittance of your powerlessness. I get that the phrase in the text is powerlessness over our addiction. But I think that it would be helpful to approach recovery from a more mindful based stance, and instead of an over reliance on like an obsession, which is what it is. It's an obsession with acting like you're broken, acting like you're special, which was a conversation that I had with somebody who was a large supporter of AA, saying that we are different. We are the ones who are, special. We're not the normies who choose to drink and they don't have a problem with it. How the fuck do you know? I think that part of being human is understanding consequences, and I also think that substances, chemicals, are a large part of being human, okay? I think that we have created them and we must deal with them. It's much like guns. We have guns, so the model of AA is like, oh, let's just empty the chamber. Let's not give access to any of these bullets. You still have that gun, but there's no ammunition in it. You can pistol whip people with it. You can scare other people with the model. That's essentially what it is you are somebody who is choosing to empty the gun. And I get it, sobriety is totally necessary. I don't disagree with sobriety as a philosophy. I'm not saying go out there and get drunk and you must use to be interesting or a whole person, but at the same time be mindful of how other people individually choose to enjoy their lives, and don't use blanket statements or complete totality in assessing what everybody's individual needs are, because they're different. So that's my problem with it, and feel free to share your thoughts on that, and I look forward to reading them. Thank you very much.